Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Joining us now with his Everything is Stupid weekly wrap-up is author and supply chain consultant Jim Nelles. Like last week, we did a mid-week wrap-up because of our travel schedules, and now this week we have to do a Thursday edition. But Jim is good at rolling with the punches, and I'm sure viewers are just happy to get their weekly dose of stupid, no matter what day of the week it is. So with that being said, Jim, thanks for being here tonight. What do you have for us this Thursday?
Hey, Kara, good evening. And we're slowly working our way back to Friday, which will be on next week. But greetings from the Everything is Stupid traveling studios here in Luxembourg, the country famous for, wait, what is Luxembourg famous for anyway? Well, it is the richest country in the world on a per capita basis, and it's also the only Grand Duchy in the world. Now, I don't know what a Grand Duchy is, but it sounds like something I'd really like to be. Anyway, it's been another crazy, stupid week. We have a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Joe Biden delivered the State of the Union address last week, and it was a doozy. He yelled and screamed at the American people, much like Abe Simpson, simply yelling at the clouds. His handlers must have gone a little heavy on the drug cocktail they used to make him look alive. First, he started mad, coming out at a 9 on the anger scale, then immediately going to a 12. He screamed about Ukraine, then compared himself to FDR. He attacked the Second Amendment, calling for a ban on so-called assault weapons in high-capacity magazines. And then, of course, he attacked former President Trump because, you know, Orange Man Dad and all that. Drugs started to wear off, and Joe hopped full force with both feet onto a political rake when heckled by Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was dressed like a truck driver for the event. The president, while showing a button of Lincoln Riley, called her Lincoln Riley. He then angered every single leftist in the world by calling the person accused of killing her an illegal, stating that Lincoln Riley was an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. And oh boy, Kara, did the damage control team had to go into overdrive to walk back his comments. The president even issued a non-apology apology. Let's take a quick look.
You know, I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Lincoln Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented.
Lord knows we wouldn't want to offend the person who allegedly smashed the head of a beautiful young nursing student by calling him an illegal. The White House then had to defend the non-apology apology, something that Karine Jean-Pierre was too embarrassed to do, so she sent her deputy press secretary, Olivia Dalton, out to look stupid for her. And we have the audio.
Well, I want to be really clear about something. The president absolutely did not apologize. There was no apology anywhere in that conversation. He did not apologize. He used a different word.
Okay, now let's take a look at how former President Trump discussed the topic. Maybe you'll notice a slight difference in tone. It's hard to hear, but let's see if you can pick up on it. Mr. Cameron, if you please, let's roll tape.
When I say he was an illegal alien, he was an illegal immigrant, he was an illegal migrant, and he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
You tell me who's stronger on the border. Now, Joe Biden was late for the State of the Union, and no, he didn't get lost. Pro-Hamas protesters, you know, the folks who support the genocide of Jews, the rape of women, and the microwaving of babies, blocked the president's motorcade, causing the Secret Service to reroute the president's entourage. No arrests were made. But for some reason, Capitol Police did decide to arrest a protester during the president's speech. Stephen McCoy, the father of U.S. Marine Kareem McCoy, who was killed during the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021, was arrested and escorted out of the House galleries after he began yelling "Abby Gate" and shouting his son's name and rank, interrupting the president. He was charged with a misdemeanor of crowding, obstructing, or incommoding. I don't know what incommoding is, but it must be bad. So a bunch of protesters can block a road, creating a security issue for the president in support of murderers and rapists, and not get arrested. But the Gold Star father of a Marine, needlessly killed because of the president's incompetent leadership, is arrested for heckling the president. Boy, Kara, everything really is stupid. But the president wasn't done with the State of the Union after talking about illegals. Nope, he had one more complaint. A complaint that addressed the concerns of each and every American struggling in today's economy. He's angry about shrinkflation. The fact that things are so expensive, companies are forced to raise prices or reduce the amount of good sold in a package. The president, very angry, said, "It's called shrinkflation. You get charged the same amount, you got about, I don't know, 10% fewer Snickers in it." Now, when reached for comment by the Everything is Stupid investigative team, the president defended attacking food companies for shrinkflation, stating, "Come on, man, shrinkflation is bad. Dr. Jill only gives me a certain amount of food, and if there are fewer pretzels in the bag, I have to sneak into the White House kitchen down in the basement, eat ice cream out of the carton sitting on the floor in my underwear and socks. You gotta wear socks because that floor is cold. But so is ice cream, and I like ice cream, so maybe I should rethink my socks." But anyway, the president then shuffled away, mumbling something about an orange man ruining his love of creamsicles. But old Joe wasn't done after the State of the Union address, not by a long shot. On Monday, the Biden regime released its 2025 budget proposal. The short version is that he and it are absolutely insane. The budget is dead upon arrival, which is a good thing because it is full of woke, agenda-driven pork. Here are some of the woke line items. And remember, folks, we are $34 trillion in debt and adding roughly $1 trillion of debt every 100 days. Biden wants $3 billion for the State Department to advance gender equity and equality worldwide. $8 billion for the American Climate Corps to hire 50,000 liberals to mobilize a new diverse generation of climate resilience workers. $1.5 billion for the EPA's Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights environmental justice efforts. And while he was at it, $90 billion for free community college. Kara, if it's free, why do taxpayers have to pony up $90 billion? I'm asking for a friend. And since his speech and budget proposal, his approval ratings are now at all-time lows. Looks like everything may be stupid, but the American people aren't. It's time now for the rapid fire portion of our segment because some stories are so stupid, they don't need any help from me. In New York City, 750 National Guard troops were deployed to check bags on the city's subway in response to recent high-profile assaults on the city's transit system. Law Authority now doing bag searches and stop and frisk on New York subways. Remind me when Rudy Giuliani was reinstated as mayor? The San Francisco Chronicle recently lamented that the city can no longer be considered progressive since voters approved ballot measures to loosen restrictions on the police and screen welfare recipients for drugs. Measures supported by the city's mayor. When did I become the mayor of San Francisco? And my senator, Dickie Durbin, a man who wants to arm illegal aliens by putting them into the military while supporting taking away guns from law-abiding Americans, recently blocked a bill requiring illegals charged with violent crimes to be turned over to ICE. So, arm illegals, let them join the military unvetted, take guns away from Americans, and now, with illegal immigrant crime rising, prevent violent illegals from being turned over to ICE. Kara, please tell me I got at least part of that wrong. Otherwise, we've completely lost our country. Our final story of the evening takes us to Washington, D.C. and the climate crazies. Now, Kara, we've talked about how crazy and hypocritical the leftist green mafia is. They fly around the world on private jets. They sip champagne and eat foie gras at black tie events, and then shame the masses about our carbon footprint and tell us to eat bugs instead of beef. The poster child of this hypocrisy is John Kerry, Joe Biden's climate czar. You know, the guy who flies around on his wife's private jet, apologizing for America's carbon footprint. In fact, during his first 18 months as climate czar, his private jet made 48 trips and spewed 325 metric tons of carbon into the atmosphere. Well, now he's weighed in on the war between Russia and Ukraine, stating that the world might feel better about the ongoing bloodshed caused by Russia if Moscow, wait for it, cuts its emissions. Yep, folks, he actually said maybe that would open up the door for people to feel better about what Russia is choosing to do at this point in time. Wow, wow. So, John Kerry, because you are a hypocrite of epic proportion, because people like you and Al Gore yell at me for eating a steak, but then spew tons of carbon into the atmosphere, because you look like Lurch from the Addams Family had a child with the New England Patriots logo, and because you aren't asking for peace between Russia and Ukraine, but rather for Russia to reduce emissions in order for people to feel better about the war, you, sir, are this week's Everything is Stupid Person of the Week. Kara, that's it from here in the Grand Duchy. The Everything is Stupid traveling circus is packing up and heading back to the People's Republic of Chicago. We're out of money and clean underwear, so it's time to go home. But don't worry, we'll stay on top of these and all stupid stories, no matter where in the world they may take us. When news breaks, we'll fix it because everything is absolutely, positively stupid. Back to you.
Jim, thanks as always, especially when you're out traveling. I know it takes a lot to keep up with the news and to write these, wonderful, funny scripts, but I really do appreciate it. And also what you were saying about John Kerry at the end, I can't believe I missed that story. I was shocked. I can't believe he actually said that. But once again, Jim, safe travels back home. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. We'll be back on the ground tomorrow.
And when we come back, we'll have